Hello and welcome to Next Level News. As always, I'm your host, Coronations. Let's get to the news. Here's a sad one for you. Arcane's upcoming co-op survival shooter, Redfall, will not be supporting 60 FPS on the Xbox Series X or S at launch. Many Twitter users are angry at the information, as it's now felt like 60 FPS on the latest gen of hardware is kind of the minimum for a AAA game now. This is a massive blow for Microsoft, as the company has been massively pushing the game as one of the biggest releases of 2023. So far, the launch will only have a quality mode for the Series X, where it will run at 30 FPS in a 4K resolution, and the Series S will run in a native 2K resolution. What stings the most is that this is the first console exclusive of AAA quality from Microsoft in over a year. This will also mark Microsoft's first time putting one of their first-party titles at the $70 price tag. So you can imagine the outrage when gamers found out they were paying $70 for 30 FPS until an undisclosed amount of time. Alright, World of War tanks, you need to stop leaking classified government documents. Oh, what? It wasn't World of War tanks? It was Minecraft? Huh. So as always, gamers cannot keep their mouths shut about anything. A massive amount of leaked documents populated popular Minecraft Discord servers, and instead of staying quiet, the documents spread like wildfire. What's in these so-called classified documents? Oh, nothing, except detailed listings of Ukrainian forces, weapons, technology, and even detailed listings of the communications between the United States and Ukraine. The documents got leaked during a fight between Discord members about Minecraft and the war in Ukraine. This is weirdly enough not the first time gamers leak top secret information from various governments around the world. World of War Tanks is infamous for constantly leaking highly classified documents pertaining to the design and schematics of various tanks. All these leaks in the name of accuracy for their fun little arcade game where they shoot each other with tanks. I'm all for leaking classified documents, but can we please not do it to win a Discord argument or to make graphics a tiny little bit more accurate? Newsflash, megacorporations are assholes. Megacorporation Monster Energy Drink is suing the indie dev studio Glowstick Studios for their 2020 game, Dark Deception, Monsters and Mortals. Apparently the nearly 3-year-old game is too easily confused for a canned energy drink. Yes, really. This isn't Monster's first rodeo. They will sue anyone and everyone who even comes close to their brand. They infamously made Ubisoft change their games Gods and Monsters to Immortals Phoenix Rising, or else they were going to make Ubisoft battle it out in the courts over the title of their game. Looks like the same thing is being done for Monsters and Mortals, as the CEO of Glowstick Studios spoke on Twitter about the issue and revealed that Monster offered to drop the lawsuit if the company agreed to never use the word monster again in any of their future games, and to never design logos that have the colors white and green on a black background, because apparently Monster owns green and white too. Not all is doom and gloom though, as the CEO of Glowstick Studios, Vincent Livings, stated that they would in fact be going to court over this, as they will not be bullied by Monster. Alright, I have a bone to pick with this game. I won't even sugarcoat it. This game ruined my entire 2022. That's right, we were looking at what was my biggest disappointment of last year, the Calisto Protocol.
Need to flip those breakers to turn on the generator.
I can't.
Is it too much?
I'm so tired and I'm so done. Calisto Protocol is what you get when all of the talent in a duo of game directors was very obviously in one person and the other person just like Gore. Sadly, Calisto Protocol did not get the talented half. Since the game is 5 months old, I will be covering the game pretty in depth, so spoiler warning. Calisto Protocol has you play as a bland mid-2000s white guy, Jacob Lee, a cargo hauler that is making his way to the dead moon, Calisto, which acts as a giant prison colony named Black Iron Prison.
Jacob is bringing supplies till his ship gets boarded by a known terrorist named Danny, and the fight between the two causes Jacob's ship to crash land into the moon, killing Jacob's co-pilot and needing him to be saved by Black Iron security. Except he's not saved, he is instead imprisoned, and soon after something happens that causes the entire prison to descend into chaos. The story of Calisto Protocol is very basic, and at every turn will disappoint you in its genuinely bland and flat characters with bland and flat motives. Jacob wants to escape, but he's also dealing with the guilt he has over his hidden connection to Calisto. Danny wants to uncover what is happening in Black Iron, but has severe trust issues. The main bad guy is barely in the game, and the secondary main bad guy is in the game for all of 20 minutes in total for the nearly 10-hour-long campaign. The motives of the bad guys are even more pathetic, as the main baddie wants to, checks notes, bring on the next step of human evolution. And the secondary bad guy wants to... The secondary bad guy wants... What does he want? Seriously, what does Ferris want? I've now played through twice, and he's never had any character motivation besides having a hate boner for Jacob, who he only met at the start of the game and knows that Jacob hasn't done anything wrong. Ferris knows Jacob was wrongfully imprisoned. There is no reason why Ferris is even against anyone in the story. He's just a bland asshole for the players to kill off because I guess they couldn't come up with a better final boss. I'd mention more characters, but there's like only 2 more named characters in the entire game that have any significant screen time, and they only act as directions to Jacob's next objective that he will nod dumbly and do because he has no self-agency, thoughts, or even feelings besides his want to leave the planet and avoid responsibility like an absentee father. What little story is there is pathetic, and very obviously wishing it could still hide behind its origins as a PUBG tie-in game, or even more so, wishing that it was Dead Space. Seriously, the game is bare bones, and when it came out, it was even more so. Since launch in the past 5 months, Calisto Protocol has added vital game modes that attempt to breathe life into its rotting corpse. A new Game Plus mode, as well as a hardcore mode, and a Dead Space ripoff mode being added in to make the boring fucking gameplay less boring. Trust me, it doesn't help. The gameplay of Calisto Protocol is its biggest sin. I can handle a game not having crazy good story. Seriously, as much as I love Dead Space 1, Shakespeare it was not. However, a game needs to have something about it that's good, and Calisto Protocol has nothing. It's pretty to look at, sure, but that's shallow and does nothing for how fun the game is. Gameplay functions like this. Jacob goes on his very, very linear path through Black Iron Prison and beyond, and gets into fights with maybe 1 to 3 enemies at a time for like 80% of the game. The game has a heavy focus on melee combat, sticking with a crowbar and then soon after a stun baton. This is where the game falls flat on its face. Melee combat is awful, and when you get access to guns, that sucks too. Combat literally boils down to holding left, then holding right, hitting the enemy, then going back to holding left. Rinse and repeat for 10 fucking hours. It never gets better than this. Sure, you can mix up the fighting by pulling off snapshots to extend your melee combo, or use the game's kinesis ripoff to throw enemies around, but why would you? None of these abilities or skills are better than just dodging and hitting when you can. Alright, here's how this works. Holding right, holding left, smack, smack, holding left, smack, smack, smack.
Just automated.
Holding left, yeah, smack.
That
Holding
sucks.
right, smack.
Please tell me there's an option to turn that off.
Nope, that's just how it is. You dodge one way, then you dodge the other. And that's the game. The gunplay is also piss poor. You have like 5 weapons in the entire game. 2 pistols, 2 shotguns, and an assault rifle. And there's almost no reason to use ammo unless you come across certain infected that are too annoying to kill with melee. This game doesn't even get to sport the excellent dismemberment system that Dead Space was known for, so the guns just all feel the same and hit like a spitball. The game pushes you to just do melee combat and don't even worry about using your guns. Till it doesn't. Seriously. By the end of the game, the infected's health becomes so large, you just decide to use your hundreds of rounds of ammo between your pistol and shotgun to just skip sections that would otherwise take forever. Now, traditionally, games like Resident Evil, Dead Space, and The Evil Within has trained us to save our ammo for the various boss fights the games are littered with. Except this game doesn't fucking have any. That's a lie. It has 2. It has a boss infected that looks like a Dead Island Juggernaut ripoff, and it has Captain Ferris. You fight the Juggernaut infected 3 separate times, and you fight Ferris twice. After playing the amazing Resident Evil 4 remake, I am even more pissed off about this than I was 5 months ago when I sat down to play what I thought would be my game of the year for 2022. That brings me to the inventory. My fucking god, the inventory is awful. The game starts you off with a prison uniform that has a total of 6 slots for items. Every single item in the game takes up a single slot, so 20 rounds of shotgun ammo takes up the exact same space as a health injector or a trophy for you to sell. You spend about 5 hours in the prison on an average paced playthrough, and then you get your only suit upgrade in the entire game with the security suit. Seriously, Dead Space has you go through like 5 different suit upgrades through its main campaign that improve your stats, increase your inventory size, and also just generally makes you look cooler. Not Callisto Protocol, you get 1 suit and it doubles your inventory size and does nothing else. Fuck you, have a nice day. It's like every little decision that was made for the design of this game was made to piss off survival horror fans and fans of Dead Space. The game that Callisto Protocol constantly reminds players was made by the same guy. Hell, look at how you heal in this game. You don't just insta-use the item like every other game. No, you have to gingerly take a knee on the ground and gently inject yourself. This makes healing in combat impossible. But there's also no reason to heal like this outside of combat, because when you're exploring, you will just find health that you pick up with the press of a button and it automatically heals you. So the health injectors are useless. Don't even get me started on grip. Grip is functionally useless. It's not used for puzzles. It's not even useful in combat except for insta-killing enemies on spikes or environmental objects that makes any sense of difficulty just completely vanish. I seriously wondered why they had the grip system in the game, besides just having something that Dead Space had, till late in the game when you come across a nearly 2-hour-long stealth section. The section comes seemingly out of nowhere as you're introduced to an enemy that is so bullet spongy and tanky that the best thing to do is to stealth kill every single one you see. Seriously, the game spends so long getting you used to its shitty combat and making you take on only 1 to 3 enemies at a time, then it throws this god-awful section at you that has like 8 of these things walking around at all times. The game knows what it's doing too, because it covers the entire section in the environment with traps for you to insta-kill the stupid things one after the other. This isn't the only bit of hostile dev design though, because Callisto Protocol just loves to kick you in the balls every few minutes. The game is filled with traps that you have no way of knowing are coming, that guarantee take a bit of health away every single fucking time. They are also straight up have traps that you can't avoid. Look at this! The fucker is right in front of the ladder. There's no other way forward. You have to trigger this and take damage. Callisto Protocol should have and could have been one of the highlights of the year. It was the start to what was going to be an amazing run of survival horror launches, yet at every freaking single turn it fails, and it fails in ways that are both frustrating and depressing. Do not play this game. It doesn't deserve your money. I haven't even talked about the absolute travesty of its launch state. The game barely functioned on PC. Guess what the devs forgot to have it do? It forgot to have the fucking game compile its shaders, which is a common thing for games to do now. It compiles all the shaders when you launch it so that it takes less effort on your console or computer to pull those shaders from its storage when they show up in the game. Yet Callisto Protocol couldn't even do that right. I run an RTX 3080 with 64 gigs of RAM. I run practically every single game at 120 FPS or more, and my system can't even run this game at fucking 60. On high settings. Not even ultra. I had to play the game on medium settings, and guess what? I'm not alone in this. When the game was out, people were complaining that their brand new 4090s couldn't run the game at a decent frame rate. Consoles had constant crashes, everyone had major frame loss. Hell, even 5 months later, this stupid game still goes insane when in-game cutscenes happen. See if it tanks. Yep, still tanks by frame rate.
Yeah, it dropped to single digits. Holy crap.
Yep. The biggest slap in the face is that Callisto Protocol doesn't even offer us an ending. It ends on a cliffhanger with a fucking screen that says the story will conclude in the DLC that you have to fucking pay for. I spent $60 on this game, and now I have to spend another $20 if I want to know how Jacob's story ends. Well, guess what? I know how it ends, and I don't even need to pay to find out. Jacob's story and the story of Callisto Protocol ends when I hit the uninstall button on this fucking god-awful waste of hard drive space game. Fuck you, 1 out of 10.
And that does it for Next Level News. As always, I'm your host, Coronations. We'll see you next time.